Hey folks, today is Friday, July 25th, 2025. As usual, my name is Jake Baldino, here to talk about all the video game news that has been going on this week. Let's just jump in. The first thing is Battlefield 6 is officially real. It's fully announced. It's been revealed. We have essentially a campaign reveal trailer highlighting a lot of Battlefield stuff. Soldiers, chaos, warfare, presidents making speeches, and clearly a lot of vehicular chaos and environmental destruction, which I think is what most Battlefield people want at this point. This is, of course, the next Battlefield game from DICE, but EA is throwing everything at this. From the press releases suggest that it's DICE working on it, but also Criterion and a bunch of other support studios to really make this a big thing. We've talked in the past about how much it's seemingly executive pressure is on this game to really nail it. But I do think there's an opportunity in the market for something like this. I think some people are really burnt out on Call of Duty and would like to go back to just some regular old-fashioned warfare like this. And so far, sentiment seems skeptical to positive, but I can't say much because honestly, this is like a cinematic trailer. It doesn't really tell me much about the game other than that it seems like there was an attack on US soil. It looks like there's New York City warfare, which is, pretty interesting as somebody from that general vicinity. Very cool to see. It's been done in other war games before, but, in this generation, there's a lot of potential there. Also, the fact that you're just fighting another kind of paramilitary group is kind of lame to me. I feel like at this point, whatever, just say it's one country versus another. I know that's a minefield from a PR perspective, but hey. Now, this trailer shows a lot of different locations, but I'm glad we have somewhat of a confirmation of battles on US soil and specifically New York City. We see the Brooklyn Bridge getting blown up and shit like that. So again, I think there's definitely something interesting here. Don't know for sure, but this trailer did also announce that the real news is coming next week. On the 31st, we're getting a multiplayer reveal. I'm actually going to check out Battlefield next week, get my hands on the game, play it a little bit. I didn't take a free trip or anything. I paid my way out there. So I'll be talking about how I feel about it when I play it here on my podcast, on my other channel, somewhere. Still, just from this reveal trailer alone, I want to know how you're feeling. What's your temperature? Obviously, it's a cinematic trailer. It only tells you so much, but some cool looking characters, good use of Masters of War from Bob Dylan from my favorite album, Freewheelin' Bob Dylan, but that's a whole other thing. I'm an old man. Yeah, let me know what you think about Battlefield 6 so far, your first impressions. Of course, like I said, next week, the multiplayer reveal is when we'll get more substantial news. But speaking of substantial news, it seems like Xbox is going back a little bit on them saying that all of their holiday big titles were going to be priced at $80 US because we have the announcement now from Obsidian that The Outer Worlds 2, which was slated for this fall, is no longer $80, but $70. Yippee! It's a victory, yes, because I think maybe they looked at their pre-order numbers or they looked at sentiment and said, oof, all right, we pushed too far on that one. We got to bump this down. But I also don't think they deserve the most praise for, pushing $80 and then knocking it down $10 and then wanting an award or something like that. Some people will argue that $70 is still too much. Older people who've been paying a lot more for games since the early days will say, stop crying. The price thing is complex, of course, but I do think that with Outer Worlds 2, as much as I like the first Outer Worlds, $80 was really pushing it. I mean, $80 is pushing it in general. And I'm just talking US prices. I'm not even talking Canada or any other places that are getting burned even more here. So it seems like they are going back to, they said Xbox's statement to IGN that this is market conditions. That's what they cited. And okay, we'll see where this goes. So at the very least, I look at this as okay, so it's not across the board now all games are $80. As of right now, it seems like it's still just Mario Kart World, that's $80. So maybe this won't catch on as a trend, but we'll still just have to wait and see. Hey, next up, before we keep going, this video is brought to you by our longtime sponsor, Vessie. If you don't know, Vessie delivers fresh, dependable, reliable, and comfortable footwear that we've been rocking for years now. But the big thing is that it's all 100% waterproof. That's right, but it doesn't feel like a waterproof shoe. It's got a breathable, extremely waterproof material called Dymatex that keeps your foot dry without overheating. So whether you're in the woods, on a hike, at work, or in the city, and maybe just caught in the rain, you're set. That freedom to be out and about, maybe you're on your way to work or something, you get caught in the rain, but then you get to where you are and you don't have soggy socks, that's a win. Like I said, they're always coming out with cool different shapes, colors, sizes, varieties. Check out their newest here. This is the Pacific sneaker. This is kind of like a blend of everyday casual style with a dash of athletic fit. Good color varieties. It's also incredibly lightweight. It's got padded heel locks, which is great if you're on your feet all day walking around. Stay comfy and dry with Vessie, and you can buy with confidence because they have a 1-year warranty. So rain or shine, if you want to check them out, all you got to do is go to that QR code or click the link in the description down below. It's vessie.com/gameranx to get 15% off your first pair. Again, that's vessie.com/gameranx to get 15% off your first order. Check it out, and big thanks to Vessie for sponsoring this video. Now back to the news. Next up, something interesting. A new Ghost Recon, possibly. We'll talk about the ramifications of that, but this report comes, Insider Gaming caught this first from Stephen Totillo's Game File, a newsletter that is really, really good. I definitely recommend checking it out. But this comes from a Ubisoft shareholder meeting where head of Ubisoft, Yves Guillemot, did say that a new Ghost Recon is in the works. He talked about their slate, their offering moving forward, you know, the success of Rainbow Six Siege, and then new things coming from The Division, and Ghost Recon. He also did specify first person for Ghost Recon. I don't know if that was a slip of the tongue or something, but I think that's potentially cool. And it is worth pointing out that Insider Gaming did report a while back that this new Ghost Recon is a thing, and it is in first person. It takes place during a fictional war, and they compared the footage that they saw, you know, obviously like it didn't come out or anything, but they said what they've seen kind of looks like a Ready or Not type of thing, which to me sounds very much like precision focused, slow, tactical, stacking up, squatting up. Love to hear that because I've been playing since the original Ghost Recon. The original Ghost Recon was first person and just like a basic reticle on the screen. So it's cool to see it kind of going back to its roots. I get the newer Ghost Recon games, for all their issues, did find an audience, but for it to go back to basics, I'm curious. And the success of Ready or Not, and like that game's like going viral now too, now that it's on consoles, it does show that there is an appetite for that slower, methodical, stressful, tactical gameplay. So that out in an open field, Ghost Recon style game, I am definitely interested in that. But it's also Ubisoft. I know you were probably waiting for that, or you were going to yell at me in the comments about it, but yeah, it's Ubisoft, man. Modern Ubisoft, for me, a lot of their games have been kind of striking out, just not really hitting the right level for me, but I don't know. I'm willing to give it a shot at least, but I do wonder what like an old school but modern Ghost Recon game looks like from modern Ubisoft. We're just gonna have to wait and see what happens, but all the stories I talk about, of course, if you want to read up on any of this, all of it linked in the description down below. Next up, in a surprise delay I woke up to this morning, Dying Light the Beast has been delayed, and this is significant because it was about to drop. It was slated for August 21st, so not too far away. But it seems like they had like a preview period and they got a lot of feedback and they decided to push the game to September 19th. So from what they said in their statement, it's about fine-tuning little things, little bits of physics, balancing, player animations, UI elements, stuff like that. They said they're responding directly to preview and player and fan feedback. So I wonder if this is just like them scoring a couple extra bits of time, considering, you know, there's no Grand Theft Auto 6 or anything releasing in September, October now, so they can take a week if they want. Or is it like, ooh, we got to try and stave off the bleeding here? I don't know. I thought Dying Light was shaping up to look pretty cool. So thankfully it's not delayed too much longer, but hey, a little polish never hurt anyone. That's the Nintendo quote right there. That's the Miyamoto quote. And interestingly enough, similar to that, sort of, Splitgate 2 is quote-unquote unlaunching. Yeah, that's right. It had dropped in June, it had low player numbers during the opening weeks, according to VGC, and the developers said, and I quote, "We launched too early. We had ambitious goals with Splitgate 2, and in our excitement to share it with you, we bit off more than we could chew. We rushed certain features, made some boneheaded mistakes, and most importantly, we didn't give you the polished, portal-filled mayhem you fell in love with." The game is apparently going back into beta, and the team is going heads down and then possibly for like a relaunch in 2026. This is really interesting because momentum is a very important thing. Apparently they're going back and really digging things up and like rebuilding parts of the core experience. I think that's good. I think for a developer to acknowledge and like openly acknowledge and like lick their wounds and go back to the drawing board, cool. But the momentum is what scares me because I think of things like Multiverses, which dropped, people liked it, they took it away, and by the time they brought it back out, interest was lost. But the thing with multiverses is that the version that they brought back was worse. So if Splitgate 2 can come back and be even better, cool. I think they can handle it because over the years, I mean, a couple of years ago, the Splitgate 2 company got over $100 million in investments. So yeah, looking forward to it coming back, because if it comes back and it's better, another good game in the universe is always a win. Also, in case you missed it, there are now rumors ramping up once again of a new Steam Deck, a Steam Deck 2. Possibly. This comes from podcast Moore's Law is Dead, which featured the host as well as fellow YouTuber and friend of the show, Jimmy Champagne, who runs a Steam Deck focused channel called Deck Ready. Tom's guide describes that as internal sources suggest that Valve is working on its next device, pointing to a Steam Deck 2. What's more, it's tipped to deliver a major performance boost based on a now leaked AMD Magnus Zen 6 APU, which is expected to power the PS6 and next Xbox. Moore's Law is also digging in, looking at code names and seeing how things match up. Look, this was taken, it's somewhat speculation, but Moore's Law is Dead is pretty legit. He definitely seems like he knows his stuff as well as Jimmy Champagne, so we're curious to see how this works out. But I think Steam Deck, while it's still incredibly solid, I use mine all the time, an update would be exciting. And with their partnership with AMD and them rolling with this new AMD chipset and really starting at top of the line, I'd just be really curious to see it. A little more technical, a little bit more of a nerdy story, so if you want to check that out, linked below. Next up, some smaller bits of news that dropped. The first thing is that Nightreign, Elden Ring Nightreign, is now getting duos mode finally. You don't have to use a mod or something. You're going to be able to play two people in an update that is coming July 30th. Also, we got a new trailer for Marvel Cosmic Invasion, a game I am very excited for. I did play it a couple of months back, a preview version. I think it's shaping up to be pretty awesome if you like these types of games. A new trailer just dropped, 2 new characters, Silver Surfer, Norrin Rad version, and Beta Ray Bill. Also, they just keep putting out gameplay, and I refuse to watch it because I'm excited for the game, and I don't really want to spoil it all for myself. But Mafia The Old Country got a new gameplay drop if you want to check out some more of that. And check this out, Avatar, which I actually thought was a pretty good game. I think it's still pretty underrated. It's very Ubisoft formula, but it's cool to be in that world. The graphics are insane if you're playing on PC. It's getting another big update. They've been supporting the game quite a bit, and now later this year, it's getting a big update with a new third-person mode. So you're going to be able to run around Pandora in third person. Praise Aowa. That's sick. Praise Aowa, I feel like, is something that has never been said in a gaming news video, but hey, who knows? Anyway, next up, Saber Interactive, the people most recently behind Space Marine 2, announced a new game in collaboration with Boss Team, who handles a lot of like IP stuff like Texas Chainsaw Massacre and the Evil Dead multiplayer game. Check this out. This is Hellraiser Revival, but thankfully it's not another asynchronous multiplayer game. It's a single-player, first-person survival horror adventure that's totally just going all in on Hellraiser lore, gross shit, and I am all about this. This just seems cool. They said that they're not holding anything back, and from the trailer, it definitely seems like that is the case. I think Hellraiser is really cool. I talked about this earlier in the week on my other YouTube channel, youtube.com/Jake Baldino, but yeah, I just think this has potential, especially with Saber Interactive at the helm, because they've been hitting for me lately. And in terms of game releases this week, this actually released towards last week, but I missed it. Shadow Labyrinth, the dark and gritty kind of Metroidvania style Pac-Man game, that's out. You know, opinions are kind of mixed, but yeah, I forgot about that. Also, in terms of mixed opinions, Killing Floor 3. As of right now, the Steam reviews are a little mixed. You know, like early on, people are not quite sure, figuring things out. Like I think some things with the class system, some of the lighter gunplay. But I do have one friend that is playing it that is actually really enjoying it. So I don't know, that's anecdotal, but Killing Floor 3 is there if you were looking for that. And also, it kind of quietly released, but Wildgate. This is a big new thing from Blizzard people. So this has a lot of potential going forward. Even if it was a little bit of a quiet launch, I think this still might potentially be one to watch. But that's what's going on. Just to get you caught up real quick, I do want to know in the comments what you're thinking about Battlefield 6, like I asked at the start. How are you feeling from this initial reveal? Like, just gut check. Are the vibes hitting? Again, next week, more news. But also, Ghost Recon returning. Do you think Ubisoft could really nail it now in their current state? Are you skeptical like me? Let's talk. Also, Dying Like the Beast being delayed. Was it the right idea for Splitgate 2 to kind of pull itself back. Let's talk about this stuff. Let me know anything you think down in the comments about any of this news, and also pinned comment. Definitely, if you have a minute, reply to that pinned comment and just drop a game you're currently playing. It helps for research for our videos, so we can kind of tailor them to you. But that's what I got for you this week. We'll be down in the comments as much as possible, but if you want to yell at me directly, you can find me on Twitter, Blue Sky, Threads, all those damn places, at Jake Baldino. Also Instagram, at Jake Baldino. That's where I like to post the most. I think Instagram is nice, but hey, either way, hit me up. Thank you very much for being here, getting caught up on the news real quick. I'm here every Friday, been here for a decade, never stop. Clicking the like button helps us. Thank you, but I've asked enough of you, honestly. So now all I can really ask is that you have a great weekend. Be safe. I'm Jake Baldino. Pizza's on me.